It's been a while since I've uploaded a ninja video to the channel here. And if you don't know what a ninja video is, it's a special gift to the subscribers and community here, which is a longer, more in-depth process of the work that we do, usually taken from a live class session. And today I've got a good one for you. It's a special process on letting go of pain. So you can totally erase the experience of pain so you don't have to suffer through it anymore and you don't have to fear it at all in your life ever again. So check it out, follow along, and if you enjoy it, make sure to save the link. Because this is a ninja video, it's going to be set to private in a couple of days. But if you have the link, you could return to it on your own again and again and use it as much as you like. So check it out and enjoy. So I want to do a special video here on letting go of pain. Now, pain is something that we should look to master. And pain is something that we all experience. And most of us have a big aversion to. Even more bigger than our aversion to death. It's like, I'm not so afraid of dying, as long as I don't suffer along the way. Now, if we're looking to be masters, all we have to do is look towards the masters and see that all of them have mastered pain. They're just not affected by it. And there's so many examples, namely Lester Levinson. There's a number of stories that he shared, from sticking his hand into hot oil to falling when he was doing some outside yard work and spraining his ankle where it swelled up like a balloon, and he walked on it because he had to go on a trip very shortly, and he decided, well, I'm not going to let this get in my way. I'm just going to allow it to be as it is, and I'm just going to walk and do everything I need to do anyway. And the way that Lester often puts it is, when you're not identifying with the body, you may notice a pain, but it's like this background noise. It's kind of off in the distance and not really disturbing you. And he tells all sorts of other stories, including having an abscess for a long, long time until it got really bad and his whole face swelled up and he released on it. Now, Lester isn't the only one. There's also Yogananda, who had very sore feet to the point where occasionally he levitated, so he didn't have to walk on his feet. But overall, he wasn't bothered by his feet. And also another story that I heard from a master that I know personally, whose name is Amma, the hugging saint in India. And she does something that she calls darshan, where she meets and connects with everybody who comes to her in an embrace, a hug, and just it holds a space of presence whenever she meets each person. And they all line up to have a moment with her. And so she does these sessions for hours and hours, like 12 hours or more. And one of the times she was doing one of these darshan sessions, she was walking up to the front and she stepped on like a pin or something, a nail, and it went like that far into her foot. And she just walked up on stage. She didn't let it stop her from her mission to give darshan to everybody that showed up to receive it. And she stayed there for like 12 hours. And at the end of it all, when she was ready to leave, she tried to get up, but she couldn't walk. And they look and she said, well, you got this thing sticking out of your foot. But during the whole time, her focus was on being with everybody. The pain wasn't even in her consciousness. So these are some examples. And we have our own examples about the nature of pain. And the fact that it's not so real. Not really. I mean, when we look at little kids, we see like they fall down, they scrape their knee, or they get a bloody nose, and they're crying, they're in agony. And then you shift their attention to something else. Hey, would you want some ice cream? And like, wait, what? Ice cream? And like in a split second, they totally forgot that they were in pain. Now their focus is on ice cream. And there are other practices that show you that, pain is only as bad as you focus on it. Now, my mom, she used to be in Scientology, and she was in that when I was a little kid. And I remember when I was like sick or in pain, she would have me lay down, and she would do this thing, I think she called it a touch assist. And I would just close my eyes, and she would put her hand on different areas. So she goes, feel my hand. Feel my hand. Feel my hand. Feel my hand. And what it does is it just gets you to bring your awareness all over, not just on the pain, but just take your awareness, and focus it here and here and here. And before you know it, the pain's gone. And we all know, have all experienced this, that pain isn't always so real. Like we have it one moment, either we just put our attention on something else or we do some releasing and the pain goes away. Now what does that tell us? If it's there one moment, like really agonizing, really strong, and then 2 seconds later, it's gone. How real can it be in the first place? So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to take a deep dive into pain so we can understand what's really going on, what to do about it, and how to transcend it permanently. Now, before we begin, what I want to do is express that, we have some alternatives to pain. And while pain may be, something that we really want to get a handle on because it can be a big obstacle to releasing, right? If we're in a lot of pain, it's difficult to release because all of our energy is wrapped up in dealing with this problem. So we're going to work on releasing pain. But here's the thing. If the pain is really, really strong, this isn't an exercise in torture. So, if it's something that is really strong and very gripping, what you're experiencing, and it's something that taking some medication, a painkiller will alleviate, and you want to do that, go ahead and do it. You see, there's nothing wrong with taking medication and handling it that way. Nothing wrong with that at all. So if you have to do it, let go of beating yourself up about that. Go ahead and take it. And sometimes, in some situations, it might put you in a position where you can release because you're not so having this strong sensation you're having to deal with as you're trying to release. But you'll notice, though, that if you do take some painkillers or something, that it does have an effect on your releasing because any medication or painkiller is a suppressant. It's numbing out that feeling. So it might get it out of the way for a little bit so you can let a little bit of it go. But just be aware and notice that the releasing isn't so deep because there is this numbing effect from the medication. So, use your best judgment about that. The point is if you're really suffering, there's nothing wrong with taking the easy way out, the immediate way out with some medication, and releasing on the pain another time. As I say, live to fight another day. Because here's the point. As we're releasing on pain, And you can use this video as a guide to use it again and again and again. We're building up a skill. We're building up a skill of being bigger than the pain, being bigger than the body. So sometimes as you release on it, it might be difficult, but as you practice this and as you get clarity and as you succeed in rising above the pain again and again, it's going to get easier and easier. So look at it this way. We're building up a skill that's going to help you overcome the pain in the long run. All right? Now, having said that, also, as we go through this, we're going to see that we can also neutralize the pain instantly, regardless of how strong it is. And so we're going to do right now. All right? So, let's get nice and quiet. Close your eyes. And focus on your breath. Just feel yourself now. Breathing in and breathing out. And in and out. And in and out. And notice that if you came into this video with some pain going on, that it might be alleviating a bit right now just by bringing your awareness into your breath. And notice that by watching your breath now, your mind is getting quieter, more focused. So just watch your breath. And just feel all the sensations. Notice how your body moves. Notice the sensation of the air moving through your mouth, your throat, into your lungs as you breathe in. And notice all the sensations as you breathe out. And in and out. And in and out. And notice, as you're watching your breath now, this is bringing you into the present moment, into now. So notice that you exist now and now and now, and that you are here now and now and now. So here you are now, with a feeling, a sensation that we call pain. And it might be annoying, uncomfortable, or even unwanted. And what that is I am in this now moment with this thing, this experience that's happening. I don't want it to be here. So with this desire, what we have in our mind is this idea that if this pain goes away, would be happy. And as long as this pain is here, I am miserable. Notice that. There's a condition on our happiness. And we really want this pain to go away so we could be happy once again. Just pay attention to that, because that is a major theme that's going on in the mind right here. Now, what makes this an even bigger problem is when we put time into it. See, it's one thing to just have a momentary or temporary experience of pain. But say like we've had it going on all day or for weeks. So in our mind there's this history of it. So I'm in this now moment experiencing a sensation. But in my mind it's like I've been experiencing this sensation for weeks. And that makes it even worse. And based on that, then we project into the future. I had this experience. I'm going to experience it for weeks longer, or maybe for the rest of my life. And that's a real big problem. So just notice that. Number one, right now, you're in the now. And there's a sensation here. And there's this idea that because of the sensation now, I can't be happy. I'm miserable. I really need this to go away in order to be happy. And then we have time stacked on both sides, which compounds this problem. Oh my God, if I have to be like this for a moment longer, I can't stand it. And see, this is just all thinking that's going on in our mind that's contributing to our misery, compounding it. But just notice that. Notice what's going on. Most of all, notice, despite all of that, you're still here in the now. You exist. You are. Now. And only now. Now, because of that, there isn't that big of a problem. Because it's just now. And you are. You exist. You are. You are. And coming from that place, you have no problem. You are. So notice that. So what do you do about this sensation in the moment? Well, you have two choices. You could try to run from it, get away from it, which is, when we listen to the mind, is our normal reaction. Get away from it. Put some medication in. Get some painkillers. Make it go away. Or let's find something else to focus on. Or maybe go to bed. Sleep it off. Anything to avoid this now sensation. All right, so that's one way we can go. The other way is to be with it. Do the opposite. Instead of trying to get away from it, moving towards it. Now you know that when you run away from it, it follows you wherever you go. In fact, the more you run away from it, the bigger the threat of it becomes. Because every single time you run away from it, you empower it. And even if you do take medication, painkillers, it's only temporary. And then you got to do it again and again and again. So that doesn't make the pain go away. It just blocks it for a temporary time. And that's not a solution. So let's take a direct course and deal with it head on. So first, let's get courageous. Now move into courageousness. Courageousness is as simple as deciding to be courageous. It's like if you get into a car and you have no intention about where you're going. You don't know where you're going. You're just going to sit in your car. You're just going to stare at the steering wheel, not go anywhere. But if you get into the car, you have an intention, you know your destination, and you're determined to get there. You take your key, put it in ignition, you turn it on, put the car into gear, and you step on the gas and you go to your destination. And that's how you get into courageousness. You just step on the gas and go. Now, you've been courageous many, many times in your life. There have been times when you just decided, I don't care about the odds. I know what I want, and I'm having it. And you didn't let anything stop you. If you got knocked down, you picked yourself back up, and you saw it all the way through, achieving your goal. You've done this. And there are many times when you felt confident, unstoppable, especially when you got in touch with beingness and you felt that incredible energy. Now that's a feeling that you can just tap into and use right now. So get in touch with that feeling when you feel determined, focused, open. You felt like whatever it takes. I don't care if there are ups and downs. I know what I want, and I'm going for it. So just feel that determination. And if it helps you, you can just put your body in a position of courageousness. How would you sit if you're courageous? How would you hold your shoulders? How would you hold your chest, your neck? How would you hold your eyes? How would your gaze be? And just sit that way now. Sit like you're confident and courageous. And just feel that energy of courageousness. You could tap into it at any time. Now make a courageous decision that no matter how strong the pain is, no matter how long it's been here, no matter what it means, maybe we have a big story tied to it. That, the pain is from damage to my knee, or I broke something and it needs to be fixed. And if I don't address it, it's going to get worse. So no matter what, can you get bigger than it? And decide, I want imperturbability more than anything else here. More than I want to fix the problem, more than I want the pain to go away, I want imperturbability. To be in the place where I'm not bothered by what's going on in my body. And it's a decision, yes or no. And it doesn't mean that you're instantly transported into not being bothered. It's okay, if you're still bothered, it's a decision. I want imperturbability more than I want to be bothered, like I'm bothered right now. I want imperturbability more. That's where I'm going. Yes or no? Now, I'm determined to get there, to get to the place where I'm not bothered. So I'm going to use a method so I can be imperturbable. Yes or no? And you see, by making the decision yes, that moves you even more solidly into courageousness here. And now you're bigger than the pain. You notice that? And notice how that works. See, if you're in a low energy, you're down in ag flap, apathy, grief, fear, usually, when there's something going on in the body. And you have this pain or situation. It's bigger than you. And because it's bigger than you, you don't have an answer to it. You feel insecure, and you want to know how to resolve it. See, that's what gets you into trying to figure it out. I need to find an answer to deal with this big beast here. And if you don't have the answer, then you go run into a doctor or other professional. Tell me how to deal with this. I don't have an answer. Because you're sitting here with it bigger than you. But if you just move up into courageousness, now you're bigger. And you're in a position where you can have an answer. Tap directly into the source of all of your creativity and knowledge. All right. So now, we're in a higher energy. Take a look at that pain. Now measure the pain. Let's just measure to get a baseline, see where we're at. And we'll measure on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 being the most painful, and 0 being the most comfortable. See where you're at. Now, you know the normal reaction is to say no to the pain. Oh, get out of here, pain. I don't want you here now. And we all have a habit. Like when the pain comes, we go, ah, ooh, ah. See, we're saying no to it. We're resisting it. We're trying to push it down, push it away. But does that make the pain go away? Or does that just make it worse? It makes it worse. So since saying no doesn't work, let's do something different here. So right now, just look at the pain and say yes to it. So we're starting off nice and simple. And by the way, if you have lots and lots of pain, this is the best place to start because it's so easy. All I have to do is just say yes to it. Sometimes we just can't, it's like so, in our head and so oppressive, the experience, that all we can do is say yes. We can't manage, is that wanting approval, control, and safety. Forget that. I'm in pain. Right? But we can always look at it and say yes to it, wherever we're at. So say yes to that pain. And say yes to it even more. Just say yes to it. And say yes to it even more. 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 And even more. And say yes to it even more. And even more. And don't worry if it goes, or even if it gets stronger. Don't worry about that. Just look at, say yes to it. That's it. See, saying yes is loving. And we're just saying yes to it without any need for it to be different, without placing any condition on it. So say yes to it even more. And 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 could you say yes to it even more? Just look at it and say yes to it. And could you say yes to it even more? And even more. And even more. And could you say yes to it even more? And even more. And even more. All right, now measure yourself and see if you moved on that scale of 0 to 10. See if you feel a little bit lighter or you're a little bit bigger than the problem. Now, see if you're disapproving of the pain. You don't like it. Right? It's probably obvious. You don't like it. And what does that mean? You're disapproving of it. And is disapproving of the pain going to make the pain go away? Or, by disapproving of it, you're putting a big spotlight on it, making it worse. And who's doing that? You see, you are in charge. You're in power here. Now act like it. Make a decision. I'm going to be positive and love the pain, or I'm going to be negative and beat it up. Which do you decide? You're in charge. So could you let go of disapproving of it? And could you let go of disapproving of it even more? And could you let go disapproving of it even more? And could you let go disapproving of it even more? Could you let go disapproving of the pain even more? And even more. And even more. And even more. And how does that feel? And did you move even more on that scale? Take a look. So even if it's a little bit, this is proof that you do have power here and you can make a difference. So we're just going to take it step by step. Remember, this is a skill. You can get immediate results, but barring that, you're going to get results. So just stay with it. Keep getting better and better and better at loving. That's it. All right, now take a look to see if you're still wanting to be separate from the pain. Now, when you want to be separate from it, that wanting separation, is that a positive thing or a negative thing? You could feel that feeling of wanting to be separate. And it's not a positive feeling. It's very harsh and closed off. And does that work? The more you want to be separate from the pain, the more you're pulling it right at you. You notice that? It doesn't work. So catch yourself wanting to be separate from it now. And could you let go of wanting to be separate? Could you let go of wanting to be separate from it even more? And could you let go of wanting to be separate from it even more? And could you let go of wanting to be separate from it even more? And even more. And could you let go of wanting to be separate from it even more? And even more. And even more. And could you let go of wanting to be separate from it even more? And even more. And how does that feel? Now, can you move towards the pain, towards that sensation, wherever it is? Instead of trying to get away from it now, move towards it. Allow yourself to feel it. You see, a lot of times we want to have a wall between us and that sensation. That's that wanting to be separate. And when we take painkillers, medications, that creates that wall. It's like, oh, good. It's walled off. It's over there now. All right? Now, instead of doing that, see, the opposite of walling it away, wanting to be separate from it, is now opening up, feeling it, experiencing it. Now, first, just set aside any story that you have about it. Let go of placing any value on that pain, any meaning about it. Oh, it means this. It means my body has a problem here. Whatever. It's just a sensation. So just set aside any story, any meaning. Let go of placing any value on it. It's just a sensation, a phenomena, now, in this current moment. So feel it. Feel it without the story. Just feel it as a sensation, an experience in this moment. Just a little bit. And feel it some more. 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 And just notice it as a sensation, not the story, just the sensation. And just play with it, explore it. Does it have a front and back? Does it have a texture? Does it have a color to it? This sensation in this moment? And move even closer to it. Feel it some more. In fact, see if you can mentally make it stronger. Just mentally turn up the volume on that sensation. And allow it to get bigger. And make it even bigger. And just be with it. And make it even bigger. And move closer to it. And more. And more. And more. and more, and even more. And what are you experiencing now? Measure yourself again. See if that number's gone down from being the most painful to being the most comfortable. Just see if you moved. Now if you feel stuck, go right back to the beginning. The simplest thing we can do is just say yes to it. Say yes to it. Just say yes to it. And say yes to it some more. 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 And some more. Now, let's get really courageous. Just pull your shoulders back. Get courageous now. Now let's dive right into the middle of that sensation. Now you could even imagine being like one of those cliff divers that dives from like 300-400 meters up on a cliff all the way down into the water. And from that height they get a lot of momentum. And when they hit the water they plunge deep down into it. So let's just climb up really high. Get at that edge and just dive right into the pain. Get lots of momentum so you can go right to the center of it. Right? So don't hold back. Pull your shoulders back. Get courageous. I don't care what happens. I don't care if I go out of control. Right? And just open up and dive right into the pain right now. Right into the center of it. And just keep going, right into the middle of it. And when you're there, just let go, relax into it. Drop your guard. Open up the locked doors. Crumble down the walls. Just be wide open, experiencing it. And just surrender to it now. Right from the center of it. Let go. Surrender. And surrender to it some more. And some more. And some more. And some more. And even more. And surrender to it even more. And even more. And what are you experiencing now? And measure yourself again. See where you're at on that scale of 0 to 10. And have you moved? And do you feel stronger and bigger than the pain? Stronger than when we started? All right, so now that you're in a stronger place and you got some energy flowing, You got some releasing going on now. Can you, again, say yes to the pain and welcome it up? Just say, come on up, pain. I'm not going to hide you away. I'm not going to try to separate myself from you. I allow you to be here. I allow you to be here with me. Come on up, pain. Come on up. Just allow it to rise. All that energy. And give it space to be here. Just back off, give it some room. Allow it to just come up. Allow it to expand. Give it room to be here. And more. And more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And can you surrender to the rest of it now? And decide that right now, even if there's pain, I decide to be happy. Because remember that decision? When we're in this now moment with this experience, we're feeling like it's got to go away in order for me to feel happy. But what kind of master does that make you? When you can only be happy if there's no pain. That's not imperturbable. And that's not where you want to go, because you're leaving yourself to be a victim when you do that, when you make that decision. So now, even if there's pain now, you just decide to be happy despite what's going on. And it's a choice, yes or no. It's not up to the pain. It's up to you. Can you decide to be happy anyway? And can you decide to be imperturbable? And could you decide to be loving? Because this puts you back in power. The pain cannot stop you from being loving unless you let it. So just decide. Even if there's pain here, I can be loving anyway. I can be happy anyway. So can you allow yourself to be loving? And can you decide to allow yourself to be happy? And now, could you give yourself some love and approval? Since you already decided that you can. And could you give yourself some more love and approval? And could you give yourself some more love and approval? And could you give yourself some more love and approval? And some more. And some more. And some more. And even more. And even more. And could you give the pain some love and approval? That sensation. And some more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And could you open your heart up and love the pain? Give it all of your love, as much as you can give right now. And love it some more. And some more. And some more. And could you be happy right now without needing anything to change, without needing anything to be different? Could you be happy and positive and successful as a releaser? And could you give yourself some love and approval? And some more. And even more. And how do you feel now? Now, do you feel even bigger than the pain? Like you're in charge now? Like you're in charge of your happiness, your beingness, your ability to love? Now, just get a picture of the pain, whatever it looks like to you. It might look like a ball of red energy or whatever. Or you might get a picture of like a problem in your body. You know, there's something that's torn or broken or something that's causing it. Just get a picture of the pain, whatever it looks like to you. And could you allow that picture, it's just a picture in your mind, just allow that picture to evaporate and dissolve. Imagine it just dissolving away. And allow it to evaporate and dissolve even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And allow it to evaporate and dissolve even more. And even more. And even more. And just hand it over to beingness. See, your mind will never figure it out. But maybe beingness has an answer. Doesn't hurt to hand it over to beingness. So just hand the whole thing over to beingness. Let beingness take care of it. Let beingness decide what to do about the situation. Just surrender it over to beingness now. Surrender it over to beingness even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And what are you experiencing now? Now notice if the pain is less. On that scale of 0 to 10, have you dropped? So if you could release and have that sensation drop, then how real can it be in the first place? Maybe it's all in your head. In fact, let's explore that and see if we can get some clarity on this. So let's do a little work on the attachment that we have to pain as well as the aversion. Yes, the attachment. As much as we want it to go away, we also have an attachment to it. And that's just how our subconscious works. See, a lot of these things we're not totally aware of. They don't make sense. Like, why would I have an attachment to pain? I'm not some sort of masochist, but I might be. But if we keep experiencing it again and again and again, then subconsciously we must have an attachment. We're holding on to it. So let's explore it, see if that's true. All right, so we're just going to do some quick, easy questions here. What advantage is it for you to have pain? And just take whatever comes to mind. Could be a very practical advantage. Like if I have pain in my tooth, that might mean that I've got a cavity there and then I can go to a dentist and have them fix it before it turns into a bigger problem. You know, that sort of thing. Or if I stick my hand in fire, that pain tells me that I need to pull my hand out. Pain's a good thing. All right? So anything. What is an advantage for you to have pain? And is that wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe? And could you let go of wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe? And could you let that go even more? And even more. And even more. And could you let that go even more? And even more. And even more. And how does that feel? Now, what disadvantage is it for you to have pain? Take whatever comes to mind. It effing hurts, you know? Whatever reaction you have. Whatever gets you saying no to it, right? So just write it down and see if that's wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe. Could you let go of wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe? And could you let that go even more? And even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And what advantage is it for you to have pain? Is that wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe? And could you let go of wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe? And could you let that go even more? And even more. 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 And could you let that go even more? And how does that feel? And what disadvantage is it for you to have pain? And is that wanting approval? Wanting control? Or wanting to be safe? And could you let go of wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe? And could you let that go even more? And even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And what's another advantage for you to have pain? And just make up some silly answer. If nothing's coming up in your mind, just think of some silly reason why it's an advantage to have it. Maybe you, talking about how the ego works, maybe you enjoy inflicting it on others. Now, whatever crazy reason you have, is that wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe? And could you let go of wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe? And could you let that go even more? And even more. And even more. And even more. And how does that feel? And what disadvantage is it for you to have pain? And is that coming from wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe? Could you let go of wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe? And could you let that go even more? And even more. Could you let that wanting go even more? And even more. And even more. And what do you like about pain? Sometimes you like it, right? Sometimes, I don't know, just weird, but it's like something to indulge in. Maybe we do it because it makes us feel more alive, more grounded into an experience or something. Or, like they say, no pain, no gain. It's like a feeling like you're really moving and doing something. Stretching beyond your limits into a whole new level. And that's a good thing. So what do you like about pain? And is that wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe? And could you let go of wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe? Because when you're wanting, you're lacking. Wanting approval is lacking approval. Wanting control is feeling out of control. Wanting safety is an experience of not having it. So you can't want and have at the same time. Could you let go of that wanting so you could have? And could you let go of that wanting so you could have? And even more. And even more. And even more. And what don't you like about pain? And is that coming from wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe? Could you let go of wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe? And could you let that go even more? And even more. And even more. And even more. And what do you like about pain? Is that wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe? And whichever want that is, you can't want and have at the same time. And would you rather be stuck in this realm of lack? Or would you rather put yourself in the position of having? And you can only do that by letting go of wanting. Could you let that wanting go? And could you let it go even more? And even more. 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 And how does that feel? Does it feel more like you have? That's your proof right there. When you let go of wanting, you have. Naturally. Easily. Now, what don't you like about pain? And is that wanting approval? Wanting control? Or wanting to be safe? Could you let go of wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe? And could you let that go even more? And even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. Which feels better? Does it feel better to want, or does it feel better to have? And since you can't do both at the same time, could you let go of wanting so you could have? And could you let go of wanting so you could have? And could you let go of wanting so you could have? And even more. And even more. And how do you feel now? Just see if you feel more centered, more peaceful, in a higher energy. And see if the pain is as big of a deal, or is it just like down below you? And you're not identifying with it so much. You see, when you start releasing here, and the more you release, the more you identify with beingness, rather than identifying with the body. And see, just say to yourself right now, I with nothing attached. Not I'm a man, I'm an American, I'm this, I'm that, I'm someone who has this body problem, I'm someone dealing with pain, just I, all alone. Say to yourself, I. 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 And notice when you say I, the I of you, that part of you that is aware, that part of you that is inhabiting the body, that is aware of the experiences of the body, but is beyond the body. Because notice, the I itself has no body. It's just a silent presence. Has no boundaries, no beginning, no end, no past, no future, just now, here. And when you identify with I, the pain can be there, but it has no power over you. And you're in charge. And from here you can even have the whole thing go away, if you choose. It's in your consciousness. This is what you're proving to yourself. It's not so real. It's only as real as you put energy and attention into it. So if you just let it go, let the whole thing dissolve, like you did a moment ago, you can get rid of it forever. As long as you identify with the I of you. This isn't escaping. This is being real. And you can only let that pain go as long as you're imperturbable, as long as you're okay with it. If you're not okay with it, you can't mentally make it dissolve. But when you're okay with it, it's I'm happy anyway, that's when you can just let it go. So work on this, and I'll see you soon. Take care.